I got whiteness on my head. God, that's bright. Anyway, so that time lapse was me milling a pile of these little boards here. So these are 1 3/4 by like 16 or something. They're just scrap. So we're going to take a pile of scrap and then we're going to turn them into these little 1/16 inch pieces. So 1 3/4 inches, but this is going to be a 1/16 inch rip. And we're going to rip a bunch of these little guys here. So in between, I'm going to face joint and make sure one side's totally square. These are all square. That's a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to set them on the saw and I'll show you how the ripping goes. I got to put a mask on for this because it gets dusty. All right, so I'll see you in a minute. 1 tooth above, that's all you need. You don't need any more than that. Plywood you got laying around, like this crappy walnut that costs $150 a sheet. And yeah, and just make a little doohickey on your bandsaw. I got roughly 32 of these things to cut, and all I'm doing is trying to get 16th inch rips for those little pinstripers. So anyway, this is what I gotta do now. Definitely wear a mask, definitely use a push stick, and I'll time lapse this so you can see how long it takes me. Oh, look, there's a little spider. You see the spider? Oh, there he goes. It's not gonna last long in here. Bitsy bitsy spider, gonna get. Oh, off he went. So I spent probably a good hour, maybe a little longer, making all these little parts. I had to downgrade my little thing. I had to cut the thing off. I had to customize it because you see how they're sawed off, basically. You can't use stuff like this. After a while, I was getting kickbacks and bad things were happening, so I cut it down, made it skinny. You can see exactly where it went through, and that worked out really good. Moral of the story is, when you're using a push stick, maybe start with a brand new one. And you won't get too many kickbacks. I had a couple fly off. Not too many. 3. That just went flying back, and you know, they hit things like this. Whack! You can just hear them fly. That's okay. Things like that happen. That's why you always wear your tape in your apron. Right in the private parts, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty, now we're going to mill these guys. Alright, so got a piece of cherry here, piece of 1/4 cherry. What we're gonna do is join the edge, rip it fat, face join it, put it aside. Just gonna make this flat. It shouldn't be too bad. Oh dear. Get down there a ways. Look at my white head. I got a white head syndrome. Am I still going? Oh, 12 minutes. Son of a bitch. Okay. So, I have a whole pile of these to do. I'm not going to make you sit through all that. These little blocks are 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. These need to be pretty square when you've got something like 90 of them all going together on their end grain, and if they're out of square, you can't glue them up. It seems like an easy thing to do, but not when you have all of these little pieces in there. You got to keep everything squared tight. Here's all the wood that was milled up from that pile. So they're all milled to 1 3/8 by 1.5 inches. 1 3/8 wide, 1.5 inches tall. The reason for that is we're going to glue this up just like this, and we're going to run this through the planer and bring all of this down to 1 3/8. Everything's marked on the top. Everything's marked on the end grain top. And all the little pieces are milled up. and all that happy horse doo-doo. So what I'm going to do now is glue all these up, let them sit for 24 hours, and then I'm going to plane them all to 1 3/8. And then what I'm going to do, once they're all glued up and planed to size, I'm not going to sand them, because what I'm going to do then is we're going to cut across the grain here, and then we're going to flip them up, and then glue them back together again. So that big pile of wood that we had earlier, this is all that's left. This is it. So this is all the sapele, the walnut, the cherry, and the maple. And this is all that's left. Scrap and all except for the sawdust. I'm not going to show you that. That would be silly. I'm going to square up these ends here, musical instrument or not, just to, you know, if these go through the planer and they chip off, they fly back at you and they hurt you. And that's not any good. So it's only going to take 45 minutes. Okay, God, let's hope not. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody. Okay, I got my bulletproof mask on here. And got my sled on here. Got it all greased up. Make sure you wax your tools, very important. And I'm gonna show you how I cross-cut these. I mean, I'm sure you know, but whatever. It'll be fun. I put my... I'm your father, Luke. Ah. See why I have the bulletproof mask on? Flies at ya. Sure. Yeah. And then you just do this and then alrighty. There it is. It's all the cutoffs for the from those. Boom, 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 boom. So the other thing you want to do when you're cutting these things is keep them in sequence, because if your grain goes in sequence and you just don't throw them in a big pile, everything will look better. It'll look cooler. It'll be like, oh, look at that. It's beautiful. I'm gonna have to flip you over. Hold on. So that's the first one I cut. Should have marks on it. Yep, see? It has pencil marks on it. That's the first one I cut. And I lay it down that way. Second, all the way through. Okay, until you get the very last one. So it's sequenced. This one and that one. As long as you don't flip them over backwards, and then you get sequence, so it looks like a butterfly effect. And you do that all the way down, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop, and it will look cool. Remember to sequence your pieces. Put them in order as you cut them. Flip them all the same way, all the same way. Don't flip them end over end. Just cut them, put them on the saw, and do them all exactly the same until you're done. And yeah, that'll make your stuff look better. Alrighty, I gotta go back to cutting. We'll see you later. Oh, look, I got a mohawk. Yay! I'm all hot and steamy. Walnut, sapele. I put my mask on because you should not do this stuff without a mask. I mean, look how dusty I am. Oh, and watch out for that thing. See, dusty, dusty. You're covered in dust. You don't want your lungs to be covered in dust because that would just suck, dude. Dude, that would just suck, you know. You get all dusty. So they're all milled up, and I kind of offset them a little bit. So now you can kind of see what it's going to look like. Except for each one of these gets a little white thing on the inside of it too. Okay, so this is a little jig I made. Alright, I got a couple of them. So I got little holes here. So I can put my clamps in there and clamp things up. It's square, which is good. And then there's little 3/4 inch blocks in here, all the way down to offset the grid. Pretty grid. Okay. It's raining again. It's Humboldt. It rains all the time. So I'm gonna glue this up right here, and I'll show you how it goes. Okay, so we're just gonna glue up all this stuff with a little glue roller, itty bitty baby one, because I can't find my metal one. So a little tray. We'll just fill this with glue and glue it up. First, I got to. This is wet. I used it yesterday. The turbocharged blow it with air syndrome. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. Hold on. Here's how to dry off your roller when it's wet. And one more thing you might want to do before you glue this all up is to check. See how square all these are? It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's just a butcher block. So another thing that might help is to screw down your jig. Because I've noticed that when I try to pull this way, you know, why fight it? You definitely want them in there tied up against this fence here and against your little blocks on the inside. So I just screwed the whole thing down. It seems to work a lot better. Yeah. That's what your hands look like when you're done. I just did 3 or 4 chopping blocks. You get glue all over the place. That's the way it goes. And I timed myself. It takes 25 minutes to roll this thing out, glue it, put it in clamps, scrape it, and hang it. So the next thing we're gonna do is just oil up the butcher blocks and off they go to the store. This is what they look like when they're all said and done. 1 3/4 thick, 13 by 16. And there's about 32 hours for 8. So you figure the $402 in materials and 4 hours a piece to build it. Yeah, they're expensive. There's $50 in wood in basically each one of these. I like this one. Walnut with sapele and maple. Walnut. Yeah, there it is. Boom. That's what you get for $402 in materials. 8 butcher blocks. Hand grain butcher blocks. Projects like these, you need to do more than one at a time. If you're just going to build one for yourself, it's a fun thing to do, and it probably won't cost that much. It'll probably take you 6 or 8 hours to do, all said and done. And then, yeah, it's fun to do. And then you have a butcher block. If you're trying to make money, you better do a lot at a time. Buy as much wood as you can. Use up, you know, everything. I've got 4 or 5 little pieces left over that I'm going to use. So it's one of those things. So off to the store they go tomorrow. And thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. And we'll see you soon. Bye. Woo! All right. So, how do I put it? And that's bad. Because it takes forever, you know. I'm not gonna make you sit through all that. I'm getting off on a tangent. Sorry. Uh-oh. See ya. Whoop.